again. This is the 24th of January 2025 and this is another Autie Thoughtie. What do autistics look like? Well, one thing I've noticed a lot on sort of autistic Facebook groups is people saying that they're absolutely sick of hearing, "You don't look autistic." I suppose it's one of those things, you know, like I get asked when I say my children are home educated, how do they socialise? How does anyone who is not currently in a school socialise? Yeah, that's how they socialise. They go and see their friends. And as a checkout assistant myself, I get asked several times a day, does that mean it's free because something hasn't scanned? So it seems that you don't look autistic is the how do they socialise, or that means it's free, of being one of us. Anyway, I've never been told this, not once. Not one person has ever said to me that I don't look autistic. So presumably, this is the acceptable face of autism. Yeah, this is what springs to mind when someone imagines. Who'd have thought? My claim to fame. I am the very model of a modern autistic general. Anyway, what do we look like? I mean, it doesn't necessarily congregate in any kind of facial feature, any race, any particular kind of body type. We come in all shapes and sizes and colours and everything else. And a few more of us than the general population are trans or non-binary. Probably a few more of us than the general population are disabled, you know, with chronic fatigue and chronic pain conditions quite often seem to affect us more than everybody else. Maybe because of our heightened sensitivity, maybe it's a trait taken to extremes. Maybe one day scientists will find out a link. Personally, I have arthritis. That's why I wear gloves all the time, because I've had arthritis in my hands since I was 18. Anyway, you know, when I see people who've got fibromyalgia or something, I'm, you know, quite glad that's all I've got. Not great for them though, is it? Anyway, what do autistics look like? I mean, how we dress is greatly affected by many autistic traits. Hoarding. We can hoard clothes, or have a particular item of clothes that really appeals to us. Every time we go out we buy a new blue t-shirt, whatever it is. Special interests. Some of us can hyper-focus on a particular brand or, you know, a particular style, fashion movement. The goths and the emos and so on are a bit overpopulated with autistics. Because, you know, we sort of identify with those, you know, little minority groups. And because, you know, we often feel isolated, removed from mainstream society, we do very often become quite anti-fashion. Or on the flip side, you know, we could become high-masking and become very involved in mainstream fashion because, you know, as an effort to fit in. You know, we do exist on the extremes of personality and at the extremes of clothing choice. As I've talked about before, we can be extremely introvert, extremely extrovert. We can be extremely interested in one thing, extremely disinterested in another thing. It works the same with our clothing choices. Of course, clothing is a very personal thing. It's a collection of possessions that outwardly display a lot of things about us to the outside world. And it's also a sensory experience wearing an item of clothing. Again, a lot of us find it very difficult to wear clothing that's tight, or that is a rough fabric, or that kind of nips in, or is uncomfortable, or is sweaty. I really struggle with clothes that are restrictive. I mean, I don't mind wearing things that are close fitting, like leggings or swimwear or whatever, inappropriate, because it's even, you know, it's evenly fitted. But if I was wearing, you know, one of those t-shirts with the tight sleeves, you know, I hate those. I've tried a few on, you know, people have given me them, and I cannot wear them. I just can't deal with the tightness around my shoulders. Yeah. Or you know, things with elasticated sleeves and ankles. No, can't wear them either. I really struggle with bras. I know a lot of autistic women do struggle with bras because, you know, they have to be tight. They have to fit firmly over your shoulders. You know, they have to be the right size, and wires are a no. Anything that's sticky, you know, sort of frilly edges and things, no. Luckily, there are such things as sports bras, maternity bras, sleep bras, you know, things that are actually made to be comfy, more than they're made to be pretty. But again, there are some autistic women who still say they cannot deal with the tight elastic. And that's, that's just another struggle of autism, really. How do you get a bra? And as I say, there are a lot of trans and non-binary people amongst us, and you know, they struggle with binders. You know, the sort of compression of the binder is really difficult. You know, that's another struggle of you know, the trans autistic community. And how do you go about your daily life when every time you look down you see a reminder that you're in the wrong body? It's difficult. Anyway, this cardie I'm wearing, I've had this cardie since 2003, as you can tell from the colour. It's got one of those collars that stands up. Now, I remember I was watching a documentary and I saw someone wearing one of these. Oh my God, I've not seen one of them for ages. And then I remembered, oh, that purple cardie I wear all the time, that's got one of them. Yeah, I attach to clothes as autistics do attach to inanimate objects very often. This is not unusual, you know. I have a lot of 20-year-old clothes. You know, I haven't grown for 20 years, so the only reason I would chuck out an item of clothing is because it is completely worn out. But what constitutes completely worn out? You know, with things like shirts and cardigans and things. Obviously, with a pair of shoes, you can tell, right, it's letting in water now. I've got to give it a little funeral. Bras, you can tell when it's not working anymore. It has to go. Yeah, jeans, when jeans go through at the knee, you know, that's acceptable, isn't it? It's fine. It's like a fashion item to wear your jeans with a big hole in the knee. So when do you actually throw things out? There's a grey area with clothes, isn't there? When you wouldn't necessarily wear it anywhere smart, but it's not exactly just for painting in yet. Maybe it's got a bit of a stain or a bit of a hole that no one's going to notice, or you could easily sort of stitch it up. It's going a bit faded or whatever, and it's fine. It does the job, but at what point do you say, right, this is for the bin? This is just for dusters now. And I do find it very difficult to get rid of items of clothing. I don't know if anyone else finds this. It's they acquire a sentimental value, and because I've worn them many times over many years, they are a part of my own identity. I don't know what I'll do when I can no longer wear this cardi. It's not going through at the elbows or anything, is it? Does that look okay? Yeah. Maybe get another 20 years out of it. I find shoes especially. Shoes are really hard to get rid of. I've got a pair of boots that I've had for about 6 years, and I've worn the hell out of them. And because I really like them, because I have worn them, they've sort of moulded to my feet and everything. I mean, they're shredded inside. The soles are paper now. But I cannot get rid of them. I keep thinking, I'll just wear them one more time. And then thinking, oh, well, yeah, they'll have another go. Yeah, they've got a bit more meat in them, yeah. And I've been thinking that for about a year. And then the process of finding the replacement as well. I mean, I'm not someone who just goes out and buys clothes. I cannot do that. They've got to be, well, as I say, as an autistic, I have a lot of requirements for, size and fit. Can't deal with anything that's tight, too small, sort of nasty synthetic fabric. I like things that are sort of colourful and patterned, and that a lot of clothes I look at and I just cannot summon up the enthusiasm. I mean, overwhelmingly the fashion at the moment is for grey, navy blue, black. Can't deal with that. No. But then if you do deliberately seek out things that have got nice colours and designs and things, then they become very expensive. I don't have any brand loyalty. I have no brand loyalty at all. There's a few brands that I know, if I get a particular size, it will fit well. There's a particular boot brand that I've been wearing since I was in my teens, just because I know that these boots fit well and are reasonably priced and will last a reasonable length of time. So I just go online and order them. I don't have to go to the shops. I don't have to try anything on. I just order another pair of that brand in that size because I know they'll be okay. It's not because of I have any particular feelings about this brand. It's because I know they'll be okay. And I was saying earlier about how difficult it is finding a bra. I found a particular brand that does a particular model that I don't know I'm wearing, so I just get another one of them. Whenever I need more bras, I just see if there's any. They are a bit more expensive than I really want to pay, but you do quite often get them in clearances. So I'm sort of, every so often I'll just browse all the clearances for this particular brand of bra that I know will do the job. And whenever I've bought a different brand, I've ended up regretting it. Anyway. yeah, clothing is it's one of those things, you know, you say, oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, oh, it doesn't matter how you look, but it has a very big impression. It gives a very big impression to other people, how you are dressed. Are you trendy or frumpy or scruffy or smart, or yeah, it does give an instant impression to other people, you know, and they largely decide if they like you or not, depending on that. And obviously that doesn't matter in a social situation. But things like job interviews, it makes a big difference. And you know, if you are someone who doesn't particularly know or abide by the rules of fashion, it can, you know, it can make life a bit more difficult. And again, job interviews. What if you can't find a suit that you can actually sit comfortably in for half an hour and not think about? Makeup. I remember someone once recommended to me, I was going for a job interview and I was told, oh, why don't you put some makeup on? I've never in my life worn makeup, right? I've sort of played with it a bit, you know, I've got some things free with magazines and sort of doodled on my face with it and whatever, but I've never actually gone outside with a face of makeup. It's one of those things that just never really occurred to me when I was young, but then kids at school sort of noticed I wasn't wearing any and started teasing me about it. And not necessarily teasing me about it, why don't you wear makeup? Do you think you're ugly? Does your mum not let you? Are you a Catholic? And it was that kind of thing that really made me think, right, I'm never going to wear makeup ever in my life. I remember once when I was in my early 20s, I sort of thought, oh, well, maybe I'll just have a go. Maybe I'll just see what I look like. And I went and got some of my mum's makeup and started, you know, sort of putting a bit of eyeshadow on and things. I look at myself and I just looked undead. Like, who the hell is that? And I just washed it all off straight away. And again, it's one of the things that, you know, it's an expectation when you're a woman that you will wear at least a bit of lipstick every day. And if you don't, it makes you stand out. But again, like I said, I've tried just putting a bit on sometimes, and it just feels like it's not my face anymore. Yeah, I can just feel it on myself all the time, and it drives me up the wall. You know, that's it. That's why it lasted 5 minutes. You know, it just felt awful. It's like someone was actually pinching my eyelids like this. But how do people deal with this? And then, you know, yeah, okay, I know now. Yes, I'm an autistic. I'm super sensitive to light touch, etc. Other people don't get that, and that's how they wear makeup. I mean, I do know an autistic woman who is very into makeup. You know, she wears it every day. She has false nails and things, and I mean, clearly that doesn't apply to her. But it is one of those things that, yes, some of us do find very difficult and does make us stand out. I mean, the physicality of autism is a thing as well. You know, always one of the classic traits is uncoordinated. You know, we do quite often look a bit gawky, we're a bit clumsy. You know, the interoception and the proprioception does affect the way we carry ourselves, the way we move, the way we interact with objects around us. the interoception being how we feel inside our bodies. Do we know that we are hungry, tired, things like that? And the proprioception meaning things like our sense of balance and spatial awareness, awareness of what's around us. And the short-term memory thing as well. You know, a lot of us do have less short-term memories than the general population, and so are sort of constantly looking for things and forgetting what's where, and bumping into things that we just saw, and so on. It is another of the annoyances of being an autistic, and also another of the things that singles us out from the general population and often makes us you know, the subject of sort of teasing, bullying, however you want to frame it. Yes, we're humans. We're a particular subset of humans. Some of us like to blend in. Some of us want to stand out. Some of us are used to standing out after many years of sort of feeling that we are a bit weird. You know, we just want to be ourselves. We have sort of created a personal philosophy. After going through school and everything, being the weird kid, we sort of come up with a personal philosophy that, yes, well, if you want me to be weird, I'll be weird then. I'll become very, you know, thick-skinned, you know, I'll do whatever I want, stuff you. Or, you know, sometimes that does sort of browbeat us into conforming, being extremely conformist. There is a big range of autistic looks, but again, as I say, we do exist in the extremes for a wide variety of reasons, because of our traits or because of our common psychology and childhood experiences and so on. Yes, we can't be spotted necessarily by our appearance, but we do have some commonalities. And that's this. Well, I don't know necessarily this week's this current period of having a bit of a half an hour free. What would you call that? This particular Autie Thoughtie. I'll see you in the next one.